In life, battles come not with the rumbling of thunder, but in silence, waging war within our own minds. The struggles that consume us are not the swords or shields of ancient battles. They are the fears, doubts, and weaknesses lying in wait, stalking our thoughts, consuming our resolve. And yet, to live well, to live free, we must confront these shadows within ourselves, for they are the true enemies. This is where we, the ones who are awake, must forge a mindset powerful enough to defeat anything that rises against us. But this is no simple task. It requires self-mastery, a hardened resilience, and a fierce will to rise above the chaos of emotion. This journey is for those willing to confront their own minds, to dig deep into the very fabric of their being, and reassemble themselves with strength, purpose, and clarity. Embrace the unbreakable nature of the will. The will is our inner citadel, the indestructible core from which all strength flows. To embrace its unbreakable nature, we must understand that it is not events themselves that hold power over us, but rather our perceptions of those events. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The essence of this wisdom lies in the realization that nothing outside of ourselves can truly harm us unless we allow it. By anchoring ourselves in this principle, we are empowered to endure, to stand firm in the face of adversity, and to deflect life's challenges like a stone unbroken by waves. Building an unbreakable will means practicing a calm detachment, especially in moments of crisis. Imagine life as a turbulent sea, with unexpected storms and crashing waves. If we tether our happiness to these ever-shifting tides, we'll constantly find ourselves off balance. Instead, we center ourselves in the one thing we can control, our own resolve. This is not about ignoring hardship, but choosing a perspective that sees every obstacle as an opportunity to strengthen our character. By focusing on the internal rather than the external, we transcend the transient pains and pleasures of the world, developing a mindset that remains steady and steadfast in the face of anything. A true test of the will is to hold steady even when faced with our deepest fears, failures, or disappointments. Seneca reminds us that a gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Embracing this truth, we recognize that life's trials are not threats, they are chances for us to fortify our will. When we master our reactions, accepting challenges as part of our journey, we become unconquerable, embodying a strength that no circumstance can diminish. Conquer the urge for comfort and ease. The pursuit of comfort is one of the subtlest traps that weakens our spirit. In a world that idolizes convenience and ease, we must remind ourselves that strength is born from challenge, not comfort. Seneca cautioned, the more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. When we prioritize comfort, we surrender control to our immediate desires and avoid the difficulties that build real resilience. Our minds and bodies are like iron, softened by idleness and sharpened by struggle. It's in the process of doing hard things, of choosing discomfort over ease, that we unlock a deeper strength. This doesn't mean we should seek suffering for its own sake, but rather we should reject the complacency that erodes our inner resolve. When we conquer our craving for ease, we open ourselves to a level of growth that only adversity can bring. The Stoics understood that by voluntarily confronting hardship, we prepare ourselves for whatever life may throw at us. This practice, known as voluntary discomfort, isn't about masochism. It's about embracing discipline to be less dependent on outside comforts. Choosing to forego comfort might mean practicing moderation in our daily habits, developing a strict morning routine, or setting goals that push us beyond our current limits. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. By mastering our desires, we free ourselves from the whims of comfort and cultivate a will that's willing to endure, to face the tests of life with strength and resolve." When we willingly walk the harder path, we affirm that we are capable of withstanding life's inevitable difficulties. In conquering the urge for comfort and ease, we prepare ourselves to confront life's true challenges with a mindset that doesn't shrink from hardship, but rather transforms it into fuel for growth. This choice becomes the bedrock of a resilient mind, one capable of facing any obstacle with courage and purpose. Practice detachment to overcome destructive emotions. Detachment is the foundation of true inner peace and resilience. To practice detachment is not to deny or numb our feelings, but to learn to observe them without being controlled by them. In its essence, detachment means recognizing that while emotions are natural, they do not define us. We are not our anger, our fears, or our desires. We are the observers, the ones who can see these emotions arise, acknowledge them, and ultimately let them pass without reacting impulsively. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor who led during times of war and personal hardship, understood this deeply. In his meditations, he writes, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." What he teaches us is that external events cannot dictate our peace of mind. Only our judgments, our inner reactions, have that power. Detachment, therefore, is about reclaiming this power. It is about refusing to allow fleeting emotions or circumstances to shake the stability within us. Imagine your mind as a clear lake. Each emotion, anger, jealousy, fear, is like a pebble tossed into this lake. When we become attached, when we let these emotions control us, it's as though we are stirred by every ripple, thrown into turmoil. But through detachment, we take a step back. We watch the pebble fall, see the ripple, but do not plunge into it. In this way, we remain steady, grounded, unaffected by the surface disturbances. The art of observing without engaging. To practice detachment, we must cultivate the ability to observe emotions without being drawn into them. Epictetus said, "Don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will. Then your life will flow well." This approach urges us to accept events and emotions as they are, without trying to mold them to our desires. When we cling to how we think things should be, we set ourselves up for frustration and disappointment. Detachment allows us to step away from this illusion of control. Instead of demanding that our circumstances or emotions change, we change our relationship to them. We allow ourselves to feel anger without lashing out, to experience sadness without spiraling into despair, to witness fear without being paralyzed by it. We see emotions as visitors. They may come, but they are not permanent, and they do not own us. Freeing ourselves from attachments to outcomes. At the heart of many destructive emotions is an attachment to a specific outcome or expectation. We become angry when things don't go our way, anxious when we fear loss, or envious when we feel inadequate compared to others. To overcome these emotions, we must release our grip on outcomes and expectations. The Stoic philosophers often spoke of the dichotomy of control, the simple yet profound idea that we control our actions and reactions, but not the events or outcomes themselves. In embracing detachment, we learn to take action without clinging to specific results. We do our best, make thoughtful choices, and then let go. As the Bhagavad Gita states, you have a right to perform your prescribed duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your actions. This concept, echoed in Stoicism, tells us that by detaching from outcomes, we liberate ourselves from the anxiety and turmoil that often accompany ambition and desire. When we focus on the process rather than the result, we allow ourselves to approach life with calm and patience. We no longer fear failure because we see it as part of the journey, not the end. We no longer become despondent over losses because we understand that nothing external truly belongs to us. Transforming emotions through rational reflection. A powerful tool for detachment is the practice of rational reflection. When a destructive emotion arises, instead of reacting immediately, we pause, examine it, and question its validity. Is this anger justified, or is it born of a wounded ego? Is this fear rational, or is it simply my mind projecting possibilities? Seneca urged his followers to question the source of their emotions, saying, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. By reflecting on the roots of our feelings, we often find that they are exaggerated or misplaced." Detachment does not mean we deny these feelings, but we take the time to understand them. We remind ourselves that the mind can play tricks, amplifying fears, intensifying grudges, and distorting our view. Through rational reflection, we gain distance from our emotions, seeing them for what they are, passing states of mind rather than truths. Becoming anchored in inner peace. As we continue to practice detachment, we become anchored in an inner peace that is not swayed by external events. This peace is the product of understanding that emotions are temporary, that circumstances are beyond our control, and that true strength lies in our ability to remain steady regardless of what happens. In this state of mind, we respond to life rather than react, moving through challenges with a calm resilience that defies the usual turmoil. In practicing detachment, we liberate ourselves from the chains of destructive emotions. We no longer fight against reality, nor are we tossed around by every passing feeling. Instead, we stand firm, observing life as it unfolds, accepting both joy and pain with equanimity. In this strength of mind, we find the courage to face anything life brings, unmoved, unbroken, and truly free. Seek adversity, for it is the great teacher. Adversity is often seen as something to avoid, painful, unsettling, a threat to our comfort. Yet, for those seeking a mindset that can withstand anything, adversity is an essential ally, the very force that forges our inner resilience. When we willingly face challenges, we tap into the deep wisdom that only hardship can teach. The Stoics believed that every hardship, every obstacle, every ounce of suffering is an opportunity for growth. In fact, Marcus Aurelius writes, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This mindset flips our usual reaction to hardship. Instead of recoiling, we embrace it, knowing that adversity exposes our weaknesses, which we can then work to strengthen. Just as a blade must be tempered through intense heat and hammering to become strong, our character is refined by the flames of struggle. When we willingly enter the realm of discomfort, we train our minds to withstand the harshest realities of life without breaking. We learn discipline, patience, and a strength that only becomes apparent when put to the test. It is only by enduring, by facing what we fear, that we transcend our own limitations. The practice of voluntary hardship, an ancient Stoic exercise, illustrates this principle. Seneca advocated living periodically with less than we're accustomed to, choosing physical and emotional discomfort to build resilience. By choosing a path of adversity, even small, controlled forms of it in daily life, we inoculate ourselves against the fear of future hardships. We realize that discomfort cannot diminish us, and through this realization, we grow stronger. Adversity, therefore, is not something to be feared, but something to seek. It is the great teacher that reveals our inner fortitude and sharpens our will. Rise above the tyranny of emotion. Emotions are powerful forces that can drive us to greatness, but, unchecked, can also become tyrants that lead us astray. Rising above the tyranny of emotion is essential for developing an unshakable mind, one that remains steady and clear despite life's storms. The Stoics did not advocate for the suppression of emotion. Instead, they believed in mastering it, ensuring that emotions serve us rather than enslave us. Epictetus taught that we are disturbed not by things but by the views which we take of them. This means that emotions are in essence a response to our interpretations. If we can alter these interpretations, we can alter our emotional response. Consider anger a powerful, consuming emotion. If unchecked, it can destroy relationships, cloud judgment, and lead to regretful actions. Yet when we pause to understand the root of our anger, when we detach and examine it, we often find that it stems from unmet expectations or wounded pride. By challenging these underlying beliefs, we rise above anger rather than allowing it to control us. Similarly, emotions like fear and jealousy can lose their hold on us when we expose them to the light of rational thought. By identifying the thoughts driving these emotions, we see them for what they are: passing, manageable responses, rather than absolute truths. The practice of apatheia, a Stoic term often misunderstood as apathy, refers not to a lack of feeling, but to a state of inner calm where we are not enslaved by destructive emotions. This doesn't mean we become indifferent or unfeeling, but that we approach life with a measured, reasoned view. We see the emotion arise, acknowledge it, and choose whether to act on it or let it pass. In doing so, we avoid the tyranny that unchecked emotions can bring, freeing ourselves from the impulsive reactions that often lead to regret or suffering. Harnessing emotions as tools rather than masters. Mastering emotion does not mean eliminating it. Emotions can be powerful motivators when guided by reason. Anger can fuel action for justice. Fear can sharpen awareness and readiness. Sadness can lead to introspection and change. When we recognize emotions as tools, we decide when to use them and when to set them aside. This mastery gives us a calm, grounded presence, where emotions become allies in our journey rather than tyrants that derail us. The Stoics practiced daily reflection as a way to manage and understand their emotional landscape. Marcus Aurelius, for instance, would review his thoughts and actions each evening, questioning where he could improve. This habit of self-reflection is a powerful method to cultivate emotional clarity. When we reflect on our day, we catch moments where emotions ruled us, and we prepare ourselves to respond more thoughtfully in the future. Transforming life through emotional mastery. To rise above the tyranny of emotion is to gain a freedom that few ever achieve. Imagine being able to face setbacks without despair, to encounter betrayal without resentment, to endure criticism without defensiveness. This strength is not born of a lack of feeling, but of profound understanding. We come to realize that, while emotions will come and go, we hold the power over how we respond. We are, in the end, not prisoners of our emotions, but the architects of our reactions. In seeking adversity, we train ourselves to embrace the difficult truths of life. In rising above the tyranny of emotion, we cultivate an inner peace that allows us to navigate even the harshest storms. These practices are the cornerstone of a resilient mindset, one that can face anything, endure everything, and emerge unbroken. Fortify the mind through reflection and discipline. Fortifying the mind is essential for cultivating inner strength and resilience, and this is achieved through the twin practices of reflection and discipline. Reflection allows us to examine our thoughts, actions, and emotions with clarity, while discipline helps us take deliberate action aligned with our principles. By weaving these practices into our lives, we build a mental fortitude that can withstand the pressures and unpredictability of the world. Reflection is a powerful tool for self-awareness. The Stoics often emphasized the importance of reflecting on one's day, examining decisions, and learning from each experience. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, would write extensively about his daily experiences, thoughts, and interactions, challenging himself to see things from a broader perspective. This practice allows us to see patterns in our behavior and recognize the triggers of our emotions. In reflecting on our reactions, we gain insight into our strengths and weaknesses, making us better equipped to handle future situations with a steady mind. Reflection is not about self-criticism. It's about understanding our inner landscape so we can improve over time. Discipline, on the other hand, is the practice of making choices that reinforce our values, regardless of temporary discomfort or difficulty. True discipline means acting not out of convenience, but out of commitment. Epictetus reminds us, no great thing is created suddenly. To achieve a resilient mind, we must cultivate small, consistent habits of discipline that strengthen our will. For example, resisting the urge to react impulsively when angered, choosing to wake early to pursue our goals, or practicing restraint when tempted to indulge in distractions. These daily acts, though small, fortify the mind over time, giving it the strength to resist destructive emotions and impulses. Together, reflection and discipline are like training the body and mind for a marathon. We prepare ourselves, bit by bit, to withstand greater challenges. As we grow disciplined in thought and action, we develop a mind that is less swayed by external circumstances, less vulnerable to impulse, and more rooted in our own steady center. Realize the power of the present moment. The present moment is the only place where we truly live, the only place where we have agency, and the only place where we can make meaningful change. The Stoics teach us that grounding ourselves in the present is essential for clarity and peace. Dwelling on the past or worrying about the future fragments our mind, distracting us from the reality that is right in front of us. When we center ourselves in the now, we become fully engaged in life and less prone to the anxieties that often come from past regrets or future fears. Seneca offers a profound insight on this. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Much of our distress arises not from actual events, but from our mental projections of what might happen. By focusing on the present, we strip away these illusions and deal only with what is real. Imagine standing before a vast mountain. Thinking about reaching the top can feel overwhelming, but focusing on each step keeps you grounded and moving forward. This is the power of the present moment. It reduces life's challenges to manageable steps, helping us to act without the weight of unnecessary worry. Living in the present also frees us from the burden of outcomes. We cannot control the future, but we can control how we act in the here and now. The Stoics believed that by focusing on the present, we achieve a mindset that is both grounded and purposeful. This does not mean we ignore the future or avoid planning, but rather that we do not become obsessed with results or let them dictate our peace of mind. We take each action with care, knowing that it's the process, not the outcome, that shapes who we are. Anchor in inner strength in the present. To harness the power of the present is to anchor our inner strength in something unshakable. In this moment, we can choose our thoughts, we can choose our reactions, and we can take action aligned with our values. By focusing on what is within our control right now, we lessen the pull of anxieties and fears, bringing us back to a place of stability. Marcus Aurelius encapsulates this beautifully. This means bringing full awareness and intention to every action, whether it's small or significant. When we realize the power of the present, we gain freedom from the tyranny of time. We no longer live in regret of the past or in dread of the future. Instead, we live fully in each moment, finding meaning in every step, every breath, and every choice. This presence is where true resilience is born, where our minds become fortified against all that life may bring. If this video resonated with you, it's not just a coincidence. It's a sign that you're ready to transform your mindset and take control of your life. Here, we explore ancient truths and powerful strategies designed to sharpen your mind, fortify your will, and guide you through life's most challenging moments. By liking this video, you're not just supporting us, you're affirming your commitment to personal growth and inner strength. Your like tells the world, I'm ready to rise above, to overcome, and to become unshakable. And by subscribing, you're joining a community of thinkers, doers, and warriors of the mind who refuse to let life's storms defeat them. Every video we create is a tool, a step closer to mastering your emotions, embracing adversity, and living with purpose. So take action. Hit the like button, subscribe, and let's walk this path together. The journey to becoming unbreakable starts here, with us, right now.